So we're working on this acoustic top. We finally got all the bracing glued on. And I basically just used the same bracing that is on a double O or an OM. You got the X bracing with the two coming out, these two going across. This is a really pretty standard bracing. This brace really doesn't have to be there. You could just do two little ones on each side because it does glue down to the top of the neck block. But I put it there anyway because I feel like it's going to help with the pull on the neck down into the body. And I don't think it's going to affect the sound that much. So I've got this chisel sharpened, and this is Sitka spruce. So it chisels pretty easily, but still, you got to put a little effort into it. And I want to get these braces to be a little more elegant than they are. They're pretty crude at the moment because you kind of glue them on when they're heavy duty so you can get a good glue joint. Because if you try to glue something real thin out here, excuse me, it kind of doesn't glue down as much as that would because it has so much more pressure on the board. Well, we did all these in a vacuum bag. And what I did was I did the X first, and then I came back and put these two on. So I just did it in stages in the vacuum bag, and it worked really well. These are a little too tall, so I'm going to take some off the top of them. There's no reason for them to be that big. My template was just that big, so I went with it, and it was a little unnecessary. So I'm using this Bridge City plane, which I love, because Bridge City makes some very cool tools. And it doesn't take much to knock it off. You just gotta, I only want that to be about 5/8 of an inch across the top there. That's much better right now already. And then, of course, this one is way too big also. But we'll just knock it down real quick. This plane, got a really super sharp, nice little plane, man. Very nice. Bridge City tools. If you haven't checked out any Bridge City tools, you probably should. Great tools. Yeah, something like that. A little more flat across the top. And then I'm just going to take it and go. I'm holding it at about a 60-degree angle. It's about 60 degrees, I would guess. And I'm just taking the thickness out of the top edge. Like that. There you go. There you go. That's much nicer. That's what we're looking for. Down to about 3/32 of an inch on that end. That's nice and smooth. See how that refined that shape? Then we'll get this other side done of the same brace. And then we can sand from there. Let's get this one to the same place. Let me move this out of the way. This is the back. Very pretty African mahogany. Quarter sawn sides. I mean, very quarter sawn sides. Racing's done on the inside. And I did that body there when I made the classical guitar. And I was just doing some testing, messing around. It's kind of a classical shape. Close to OM, but kind of classical. And so I thought I would put do a steel string instead of classical, because I'm not a classical guitar player. I'm more of a steel string guy. And I'm doing this one for myself. Something that I can play around the house and show people when they come over and that type of thing. So, all right, so those two look good. And this is what we're looking at right here on the end. We have this curve. And I'm just trying to refine that so that it's not so heavy duty. We don't want to kill the vibration of the top, but we want to make sure it's strong enough to deal with the tension of the steel strings. Right? So we're just going to refine that a little more. Across here. And a little more across here. Right? And then I can sand that and that'll look nice. It'll look nice and it'll be very functional for the guitar. That's really what's more important. So I need to do the same thing here. Right? I'll turn that around. Hit this side. This side's a little trickier because you got these two braces in the way. But you still need to do it. And you could do this, I guess, before you glue it in, but like I say, this really doesn't take that much time to do. And it's kind of a, it really is more of a Zen thing. Because you can just chill and do this cool woodwork. You don't have to be in a hurry. You can take your time and do it right. Let's get this side. Hit that brace there, but that's okay because I still got to go down that far. See? So, got to be careful. Really need a curved chisel to do this with. I haven't bought one yet, but this works pretty good. This particular Marple's chisel will hold an edge really well. And it's got some weight behind it, so when you're pushing it through the wood, it's moving through there. And if you keep it good and sharp, and it really cuts really well, as you can see, and it'll take off a really nice shaving. That's pretty nice. And we want to get that knocked down a little bit. Cool little shaving there. Let's see if we can unroll it. My fingers don't like really super delicate things that much. We don't do that well with those kind of things. As you can see, it has no problem knocking the wood down. It's nice and smooth. And there you go. There's two braces that look pretty good. We got to sand this up. That's actually a pencil line. It looks like a crack, but it's actually a pencil line. There was a little bit of a crack on the end from sitting in the air conditioning, but I reinforced it with CA glue. And it's good to go now. The rest of it, though, is pencil line. Right? Which I should have sanded off. It's being sloppy. It's important to keep cleaning off your towel because it gets messy. All right, let's get these two refined here. Of course, this reinforces this area here in the middle around the sound hole. So this is what we're doing this evening, guys. And I'll keep doing this until I get it done. It's going to take a little while. I think you get the idea. And what you can do is you can kind of start tapping it and listening to it. Kind of getting the idea of how the top sounds. And you can change the sound of it by lightening up on one side or the other. Taking a little more off of this brace. And that type of thing. There's a whole science to it, but and so, I mean, that's changed the sound just by doing that. So you're making a musical instrument, you know, so you want it to sound musical, right? Absolutely. Absolutely right. And I don't know all of the science, and I don't get into hooking it up to computers and listening and watching the sound waves and all of that. There are people that do that. God bless them. I just do it until it feels good to me, and then I stop. And I hope that I made the right decision. And I play that guitar, and I'm happy I have it. Basically is what that boils down to. I think if you follow recipes, much like your grandmother's apple pie, you follow that recipe, you pretty much can't go wrong. Well, the guys that made guitars before us did things a certain way, and if you do it the way they did it, you're probably going to be okay. Hey guys, so I was on the way home, and man, traffic was terrible. It's raining. It's, you know, your typical summertime thunderstorm afternoon. And it's just pouring down rain, and the traffic is horrible. And where I live out here in this rural area in Suffolk, I got to go down a couple of highways to get here. It takes me a little while to get home in the afternoon. And you're sitting there in traffic, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I am being inconvenienced. That's the kind of feeling you get. Man, I really wish I could just fly past all these people because they're holding me up. And then you drive past the accident and you realize, man, I'm so glad I was not a part of that accident. And you have to kind of reevaluate your way of your thinking of things. So, but I was thinking on the way home while I was sitting in traffic that I feel like the world is kind of losing a little bit of its soul with the whole computer generation. And believe me, I have nothing against computers other than I think they steal our muse away from us. I think that if you spend time talking to your muse, and if you spend time, that sounds mystical, and maybe some people think that's bullshit, but if you spend time listening to what the thoughts are inside of you and the inspiration that you get from the things around you, things will come from you that are inspiring to other people. That's the way I see the muse. And I believe that if the muse isn't being paid attention to, it'll go away. And so I was thinking, man, you know, I used to read books all the time. I used to watch these great movies, you know, these old movies, and watch them, and man, that's a great old movie. And listen to music on an album. And I haven't done any of that in a long time. And I'm going to get back to that. I want to get back to that. You know, let's put an album on and eat dinner at the dining room table. All right. You know, let's read a book instead of watching some stupid show on TV. Crazy thoughts, right? Okay, that's all I got for you today, guys. I'm going to keep just shaping these braces until I get them right. And I'll let you know what they look like when I get done before I glue it together. And I'm just going to zen out on this wood flying off of here, okay? You guys have a great one no matter what it is that you do. Please forgive the noise in the background. That's the spray room. Thank you so much for subscribing. Peace. Be good to each other out there. Go see some bands. We'll see you next time. Bye now.